Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pasture Farm. Welcome. Today's topic is residual. In other words, how much are we leaving behind with each grazing pass? Isaac and I just moved the bulls into this new strip here. We're moving them every 24 hours. It's just something we decided to do. You could move them twice a day or 5 times a day, but for us, it's working pretty good to do once. We're giving them a pretty good sized strip here. But I wanted to show you the carbon that these bulls are laying on the ground with a back fence. Now, you don't have to put up a back fence up to 3 days. In other words, if you're on, let's say, 20 acres, and you're giving them 7 acres a day, you wouldn't have to put up a back fence in behind those animals because they're not going to go back and regraze it very much because they're on this fresh stuff right here. We just gave them a strip that's it's probably, I don't know, 150, 200 feet wide this way, and it's about 850 feet long. So it's a long rectangle. And I wanted to show you the importance of, if you're going to get a lot of carbon trampled on the ground, folks, it's not waste. Don't think about this grass that they left behind as waste. I'm going to have Isaac come up and I'm going to show you. Look at this. I mean, there is some serious forage here. Let's see what the animals have done. Right here's a very good example, right here. So what the animals have done, they did that. They put a kink in it. See, once you put a kink in a blade of grass, this kink kills the sap flow back to the roots. So now what we have here is dry carbon. You come back here in 2 weeks, not even that long, 7 days. All this stuff is going to be brown. And it's going to feed our soil. It's going to feed our litter bank. So in July and August, when it gets hot and dry, we're going to have all this green stuff growing up through it. We'll be able to pull this back, and we're going to see this. This is going to be laying on the ground, protecting our future. Folks, the litter bank on your farm is the future of your farm. So don't think of it as waste. Look at these animals behind. And these are bulls. They're not baby bulls. Those are good sized bulls. We just had those first. We took 17 to the vet on Wednesday, and we set a record at the vet clinic. It's the first time they'd ever tested 17 young bulls. Every single one of them passed. Every single one passed the semen test, and they were just, the vet was just blown away. He's like, "What do you all? You know, how do you do that?" I mean, but part of it is it's the health of the animals, folks. When animals are moved every day, it'd be just like us. You know, if Isaac and I were locked in a room and they gave us cauliflower every day, we never got anything else but cauliflower, we wouldn't be very healthy either. But these animals are getting a multitude, a diversity of great species of grasses and forbs and legumes, and they're leaving their poop and their pee behind them. If Isaac can back up just a little bit. Isaac's my photographer today, folks. We're leaving this behind. So we're leaving manure behind. The animals aren't camping in their manure. You know, when you go on the farm and you see mud and manure caked on animals, they're not moving them. They're not moving those animals fast enough. They shouldn't have manure caked on them. Animals aren't going to lay in a cow pat when they can lay in that. They're like you and I are. They want to lay someplace where it's comfortable and dry. They don't preferably like to lay in a runny old cow pat. If they do, it's because of us, the way we manage them. So we've got a piece of poly braid up here. These are our step-in posts. Isaac just made the comment a while ago, this is a Saturday. We're done. I mean, it's 9 o'clock. We started at 7:30, time we got over to our cattle mob. That took, what, Isaac?
Half an hour.
Half an hour for the cows.
Half an hour for the sheep.
Half an hour for the sheep and the bulls. We had some bulls in with the sheep. With, you know, 150, 200 baby lambs over there. They're all stuck back in the cedars. When I started sheeping them, Isaac went behind them. They all just went into the new paddock. Folks, these animals, they get used to moving. They like it. But I wanted to show you the stark contrast of putting in a back fence. So here's where the animals are right now. Look at the forage in there, folks. I mean, it's just, you can step over that if you want, Isaac. I mean, look at this. I mean, if you're a ruminant animal and you have this exposed to you, you can't help but do good. You're gonna do good. And this morning we watched, oh, look at that. It's the first one I've seen.
First seed head.
First seed head on Timothy. Timothy is the last cool season grass to emerge in late spring. There it is. And we're at May 30th, 29th, something like that.
Yeah, 30th I think is today.
We watched a cow this morning when we moved them. She was going along doing this. Well, the same thing the bulls did. The bulls already got that. They're just taking the tips off of these plants. Now, because the bulls are only being moved once a day, they may come back and take a second bite. But gosh, I still got 2 foot of grass left there, so it's not going to hurt it at all. But look at the forage. Folks, this was grown with animal impact, unrolling hay in the wintertime. And about 3 years ago, we did put some lime on it, and I shot it with just a little bit of phosphorus. I think it was 80 pounds per acre. But I've never touched it since. We're just putting hay down, and we're maintaining because we're not taking hay off the farm. Animals poop and pee, they eat it, and it goes back onto the land. So it's really self-sustaining. Now, I will cover this because I know it's going to come up as a question, is if you're selling animals off your farm every year, you've got to replace that weight in the bones, the gut, the hair, all those. In other words, the way that animal left your farm, they took nutrients with them that was produced on that farm. You're right, you got to replace them. Do you fertilize? No, you don't have to do that. We actually buy hay in. So we're buying hay from a hay contractor. That's what he does. He doesn't even run very many. I don't think he has very many cows at all. He just bales hay. So I'm keeping him in business by buying hay, and he does fertilize. And I get this a lot. People say, but when you buy hay in, you don't know what you're getting. You may get some weed seed, but folks, this is all purchased hay, and it's just, fescue and a little bit of clover in it when we buy it. But look at it. You feed the soil. I had another guy that emailed me about crickets. The crickets are eating him up. I'm like, sir, don't worry about the crickets. Worry about putting carbon, like right here behind us. Let's go back across the fence, Ozzy. Worry about putting carbon on the land, feeding the soil biota, getting the microbes a good full smorgasbord every day, feeding the earthworms. You focus on this and you will have that. You will have that, and you will have fat animals, healthy animals. When I say fat animals, folks, I'm not talking about obesity. I'm talking about good, healthy animals on grass. Now, I'm going to go down and show you what we did this morning. We started to roll the wire up, and I told Isaac, I said, let's stop. Let's just stop right here. That's what we did. I'm going to show you what we did down here. This is pretty cool. So instead of rolling this whole wire up and just letting the bulls go into the new paddock and still be able to go over the old paddock they were on yesterday, we did this. We stuck a pigtail in down here at the bottom. So we got our pigtail. We got our pigtail right here in the corner. And that's our little brace. So I mean it's supported. So the bulls are in their new paddock today. They can't come back on what they were on yesterday, which is this. But look, they can still get back over here to the water. So the water tank's over here. So all we did was just roll the wire back to here, and tomorrow there's another wire over there on the other side of that sycamore tree. We're going to do exactly the same thing. We'll roll it up 100 feet, let the cows go through. I'm sorry, the bulls. We'll put another pigtail in over there. We'll bring our wire back over here. That way, we're keeping our density up a little bit. Why do we want to keep our density up a little bit? Well, look out there across that landscape. Folks, when you make a long, narrow rectangle, you get a lot more walking back and forth. You're trampling carbon on the land. The more square you make your paddock, the more you get through the animal. Just, it's as simple as that. So if you're in the soil building business, that's what we are, soil building business, don't think that because the cow stepped on it, oh, I wasted that. And I was of that mentality when I started out grazing many years ago. You couldn't have held a gun to my head and make me move animals off this. I'd have left them another day. Because I'm like, I'm wasting it. Folks, get out of that mentality. This is not waste. This is an investment in your future. You're going to have that. You're going to have that. And I told Isaac and Ben yesterday, I just wish that they could have seen this farm when we leased it. It was in 2003. And this is the farm that had the 12 cows in a bowl. And that was his stocking rate. And he gave them the whole 160 acres for 73 years. 73 years. Folks, it didn't matter where you went on this farm. There was no grass. And it didn't matter if it was a spring flush and they were getting plenty of rain. There was no grass. That's because the grass never got a chance to rest. So give your grass a sabbatical. I just talked with a guy yesterday, and he said, Greg, my farm grass is not coming back. What can I do? I mean, he had some horses on there, he had some sheep, he had a few cows, and it just wasn't coming back. It's spring flush. Well, if it's not coming back, you got to cut some animals. You got to do some brainstorming. You got to give that rest to the land for the land to come back and pay you back. Because land cannot be abused every year, continuously grazing, and expect to make a living on it. Or for it to get better. Maybe it's, you don't have to make a living on it, but it should look like this. This is gratifying. Isaac and I just moved the sheep a while ago. Looking at all the baby lambs coming through, looking at the bulls that we had in, everything's just shining. It's because of the grass. It's because of the grass and constant access to fresh grass. That's what it's about. So forget about all these inputs, all this other stuff. You do need some step-ins. Folks, this field right here is about around 35 acres. We don't have a wire on it except for at the bottom. That's for our power. There's no wires out in here. And that's what's allowing us to do this. If I had paddocks all over here, I'd have to come in here and figure out a way to get water on all these hills. The cows can walk, or the bulls in this instance, they can walk back to that tank. That's nothing. I mean, to the far side over there, that's probably 1,200 feet. They can walk 1,200 feet. It's not going to hurt them. But by doing these long rectangles, make them grow you some soil. Make them grow you some soil. They'll do it. Here they come back again. Look at this. The bulls are coming back down this paddock. They're all facing the same direction. And they will do that until they get full. Then they'll go find them a shady spot, and they'll lay down and ruminate, and they'll do it again. Maybe while you're sleeping tonight. They're building carbon while you're racking out, taking some Z's tonight. They're building soil for you. That's your future. So, with that, I think I'm going to kind of wrap it up. For those of you all coming to our grazing school in September, it's going to be a good one. Check it out on our website, greenpasturesfarm.net. And I think that's all I had this morning. So with that, for you new subscribers, you new viewers, hit the subscribe button on the way out. And we'll see you all down the road. Take care.